When I was 7, I started elementary school in the Philippines. I somehow ended up staying all the way through college before coming back to Korea. Before I went to the Philippines, I knew nothing about the country. And the only English words I knew were from a poster on the main bedroom door. I couldn't even write the alphabet or read phonics. Starting elementary school in the Philippines. But when you're little, things like language barriers, culture, food, none of that really matters. No worries, I was just excited for something new. At that time, I was in first grade in Korea, and all I cared about was getting perfect scores on Korean dictation. Back then, my mom's friend worked for a home visit education company. She asked my mom to let me study English for a month to meet her quota. That's how I started learning English. The teacher would say words like jelly or kangaroo, and I'd repeat after her. She always told my mom, Gina's pronunciation is good and she's very focused. I still remember that. But honestly, I even fell asleep during class sometimes. She never mentioned that part though. A few months later, I heard that our family was moving to the Philippines for 2 years. One day, my little sister, who knew I took English lessons, said, Ate, you're good at English. Say something in English. But all I knew were like, xylophone is xylophone, banana is banana, and ice cream is just ice cream. So I thought English was just Korean with a twist in pronunciation. So I proudly said, 우리 필리핀 언제 가? 내 동생 나한테 영어 배울래? Meaning, when are we going to the Philippines? Do you want to learn English from me? In a tongue-twisted Korean version. My sister burst out laughing, and seeing her laugh made me talk even more. Now that I think about it, did she laugh because she knew I wasn't actually speaking English? This little rascal! Anyway, I had just started second grade for like 2 weeks when we moved to the Philippines. I was so excited, mostly because I got to ride a plane. And since I thought we'd come back in 2 years, I wasn't sad saying goodbye to my friends. We just said, see you soon, and waved with smiles. Back then, the school year in the Philippines was different from Korea. In Korea, classes started in March and ended in August. But in the Philippines, it started in June and ended in October. That system stayed the same until the K-12 program started around 2012. I guess it's different now. The good thing was, we only needed 10 years of school, 6 years of elementary and 4 years of high school to enter college. So I graduated at the age of 21 with a bachelor's degree, which is 2 years earlier than these days. Back to the story, since my sister and I didn't know any English, we took private lessons for a few months before school started. But you know how 6 and 7-year-olds are, right? They listen better when there are 2 of them. When the teacher said, sit down, we'd say,
Yes, teacher.
When she said, be quiet, we'd be... That would have been perfect, but come on, kids are supposed to be wild. When the teacher said, sit down, we'd say,
No.
When she said, follow me, Cherry, we'd say,
Follow me, Cherry.
When she said, shh, be quiet, we'd say, she? Teacher, do you want to go to the bathroom? Because she means pee in Korean. Oh my gosh. Sorry, teacher, if you're watching this now. As time went by, our teacher figured out how to deal with us. Every time we messed around, she told our parents, and we got scolded all the time. So later, we pretended to focus during class. We also learned that if we said, can I go to the bathroom? She'd let us go. And we kind of abused that. I'd ask first and go to the bathroom, but actually set up a board game. Then my sister would ask to go too, and we'd meet there and play. We'd just play there until our teacher called us. When she asked, what took you so long? We'd go, we pooped. and she'd just nod and move on. It didn't take long for our teacher to figure us out. So of course, she told our parents that we were taking too much time in the bathroom, and boom, our parents decided to separate us. So after that, we had one-on-one lessons. No one to talk to, no one to play with, so I just studied or fell asleep. Then came the big day, our placement test. The teacher brought a few books and sat between us, opened the easiest one and pointed at pictures saying, "What is this?" We'd answer, "Apple, banana," and so on. The books were printed in black ink on thin gray paper, so it was kind of hard for us because we were used to colorful ones. Then he pointed at one picture, but we couldn't recognize it. We just looked at each other, confused. He never gave us a hint and just said, "Okay, you'll start from this level. This is cloud. Do you know cloud?" and pointed to the sky. And that was it. The test was over in 5 minutes. Cloud? Who draws a cloud like this? People usually draw clouds like this. If it had color, we'd totally know. We were so frustrated. But, well, maybe it wasn't just an English test. Maybe it was an art interpretation test too. So, yeah, we both started in first grade. The materials were super easy, so we finished fast and got good scores. We even made the honor roll. Our elementary school was a US homeschooling-based international school. So if you finished your books faster, you could graduate early. So we graduated elementary school in 5 years. It wasn't lecture style. Each student had their own small study space, like a little study cafe. You set your goals for the day and studied independently. But since I couldn't focus alone, I had to take summer classes too. That's how I managed to graduate in 5 years. My sister, on the other hand, was really diligent. She didn't need summer classes and still finished 6 years worth of books in 5 years. She was actually on the 7th grade materials, but when we moved to a local high school, they adjusted her back to grade 6. If we hadn't transferred schools, she might have graduated before me.